Hey everyone! Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit more emotionally driven. I'm kind of going to talk about my relationship with Nick before he left and then leading up to his deployment and kind of the days after. Um, but before I get into that, I want to go ahead and introduce a special guest for today, which is Mr. Penguin. Um, Nick gave him to me when I first moved away. Um, which I'll get into that and I'll explain that all in a second. But he's kind of been my cuddle buddy and my little support system while Nick's been gone. And so I just wanted to have him in the video today to kind of give me some emotional support for this one. This one is going to be a little bit tougher. So you sit right there, Mr. Penguin. Alright, so Nick and I met while I was working in a bar in not a cool part of town. It's kind of shady. And I had just come out of a 3-year relationship, and I really needed a change. And I was living with my best friend, so we were just kind of, just turned 21, kind of partying it up. Not really making my life better after that. I was on an up emotionally, like I had, let go of a lot of things, anger. I felt so much better, like personally, but it was all kind of just very in the moment. It wasn't future based. I had no plans. Besides, I knew what I wanted to be in life, which is a wedding planner, but I wasn't making any strides to get there. And so I was in a happier state, but I wasn't in a, satisfied with the way my life was going stage. So when I met Nick, I had actually just recently realized that about myself and decided to get up and leave. And move to my hometown, which is Fort Worth. And I say my hometown lightly because I was born in Delaware, but I moved to Fort Worth when I was 6, so it's kind of the majority of my life what I know. And so I moved back to where there's more opportunities here. It's a bigger city, so there's a lot easier place to find a decent job, and that's what I needed. I needed a decent job that would support me, but also give me the time that I needed to focus on myself and become the person that I wanted to be. So I didn't want to tell Nick this when we first started dating, mainly because I didn't want him to just drop me. I had gone through a lot where I had just kind of been dropped, and I was terrified of him just leaving me and leaving me out to dry when I had started to like him so quickly. Our first date was really sweet. Honestly, neither of us really looked at each other as future potential. I knew I was leaving, and neither of us really looked at each other like anything that was going to be forever or a future. It was just kind of a date just to kind of pass the time, but he surprised me. We went out to the park and we walked around, and I hate outside stuff, but I knew he liked outside stuff, and I didn't really want him to spend any money on me. I guess I'm just that person. And it was kind of late, it wasn't by any means, normal date times. But it was really cute, our first date, which I will describe in detail another time, just because I have a feeling this video is going to be a little long, so I don't want to make it too long. So our first date was great, and then we just spent just a week together. We were inseparable almost after that. And so I was terrified to tell him that I was leaving. And we went to go visit my place of business, which was a pool hall. And it was one of my days off, so we went to go play pool with him and his buddies. And one of the other waitresses, who will not be named, but I don't like her, we'll just leave it at that, decided she was going to bring up, she's like, oh, so when are you leaving? When are you moving? I was like, oh, no. Fabulous. Now I get to have this discussion. And so I told him, I was like, okay, what if I told you I had to leave? I was moving. And he goes, well, where are you moving? I was like, well, Fort Worth. He goes, well, when? I was like, in about 2 weeks. Which, is now really funny. and I'll get to the kind of irony in that in a second. But he looked at me and he said, well, I guess I'm going to be making lots of trips to Fort Worth. He didn't even think about it. Just the first thing out of his mouth was, well, I guess I'm going to be driving a lot. And at that point, I knew that I had picked a good one if I hadn't already known. And I was ecstatic that was his first thought, was to come see me all the time. Because long distance relationships rarely ever work, and Fort Hood was where he was stationed. Fort Hood, and I'm in Fort Worth, and so that's about a 2.5 hour drive one way. So it's a little bit of a drive, but we both strived to make it work, and we both made that drive more than once, and the willpower that it took was so easy to just go and visit him, just pick up and go, and it was so nice when he came up to visit me, and it was great, and I admire him so much, and he knows this. He's full of himself. I mean, when a girl like me tells you all the time how handsome you are and how perfect you are, eventually you're going to get a big head. Wow, I sounded conceited in that. Wow, okay. Anyway, moving on. So it comes to the point where it's about January, mid-January, and he's in the field. He was in the field for about 3 weeks in January. But he got weekends off, so he was able to come see me the first and the last weekend. But while he was there, he texted me, and he was like, hey, how would you feel if I had to deploy? I'm like, well, if you have to deploy, there's nothing I can say. He didn't say, how would you feel? He said, what would you say if I had to deploy? It's like, well, there's nothing I can say besides, you go, and I'll be here when you come back. Like, there's nothing I can do about it, I don't like it, but there's nothing I can do about it. And so I asked him when he'd be leaving. He was like, well, about 2 weeks. And I was like, oh. And that's where the irony comes in, because I kind of sprung on him that I was moving away, and then he kind of sprung on me that he was deploying. It ended up being, I had a little bit more time with him than just 2 weeks, which was good. Still not enough for me, because we were already doing a long distance relationship thing, and so to have him gone for the next 9 months was really, really hard for me. Ever since he told me, like, officially he was leaving, that was really, really tough. Really tough. Because I already felt like I didn't get enough time. I still have a little bit of a hard time with it, but I know that it's for the better now. Then he told me he volunteered. And I love this man. I know it's only been 5 months, but I absolutely love this man, and I love everything about him. And he's dyslexic, which is really cute. And he texted me, and he told me he volunteered. But I didn't understand that at first, because he spelt volunteered with an F. And he's going to get so mad at me for putting this on here, but he did. He spelt it with an F. He spelt it F-A-L-I-N-T-E-R-E-D, I think. So volunteered, which is just so cute. One thing about me is, before I worked at the pool hall, I worked with dyslexic kids. So it's just kind of cool that the man that I love is dyslexic, when I know how to work with those type of kids, and those people who, have difficulty spelling and mix up letters and have that learning disability, and I can figure it out. Like, I can figure out what he's trying to say, even if it's spelt, volunteered with an F. I love you, babe, if you watch, just so you know. Anyway, so I was hurt when he said that he volunteered to go, because to me at that point meant that he had volunteered to leave me. I was, I know that that's not what he did, and I knew it then, but I have really bad anxiety, so that's instantly where my brain was, and I'm working on it. just for the record. It's gotten better since being with Nick. But that's instantly where my brain went, was you volunteered to leave me for the next 9 months. Am I really that big of a hassle? Like, do I really bother you that much? Like, that's where my brain went, and that's sad, and I'm working on that. Definitely. And he kept telling me, babe, I'm just going to make more money. I'll be able to pay off my truck. And when I get back, we can work on, if we want to spend the rest of our lives together and have that money. And I cling to that thought. Sorry, hold on. These are happy tears, just so you know. Because the thought of him thinking that, he's going to volunteer to leave so that he, can help make our lives better when he gets back, is definitely what I want in a man. Someone who might have to make some sacrifices, but tries to make our life better. And then, of course, I have to sacrifice too, and this is part of that life. But it took me a while. I think I cried every day. Every day. When he told me he was leaving. Every day. And I cried up until, I'm still crying sometimes, just thinking back on that and thinking about how much I miss him. And what he's gonna miss. Like, he's gonna miss our 1-year anniversary. He's gonna miss that. He's gonna miss my birthdays. There are things he's gonna miss. And that's hard. But I feel like that's something that every military significant other spouse goes through on a deployment, is they think about all the things that they're going to miss. And I try not to dwell on it. But it's definitely really hard. And I know we're not supposed to say goodbye in the military, at least I know that now. But when I went to go see him off, that's what I was doing. I was saying goodbye, because, anything could happen. Shoot. I could die driving to work. Like, you never know. And so for me, it was like I was saying goodbye, just in case I got to say my goodbyes. And I'm really bad about thinking like that. And I'm working on changing my thought process to where that's not the first thing that I think of. But with my anxiety, that's kind of instantly where my brain goes. And so I'm working on that. And that's something that I'm dealing with. And it's one of my own personal struggles. So after I saw him off and was with him for as long as I could, I had other things that I needed to go do, and it was National Margarita Day the day that we left, and a couple of my friends up here in Fort Worth were like, "Hey, come out and drink with us," and I was like, "Oh dear Lord, I guess I'll go get a couple drinks, try to enjoy what I could, try to relax." And they were all already pretty good to go when I got there. They were actually all about to leave by the time that I got there. And so I had one margarita, and I was ready to go home. And I lost it. I absolutely lost it. I think I cried for 3 hours. Because then I felt bad for trying to forget that he had gone. And luckily I had the support of his mom. His mom has been our biggest supporter, and I will never be able to thank her enough for all that she's done already. And I adore that woman to death, and I'm so grateful that his mom is the way that she is. So grateful. She roots for us every day, and she calls and checks up on me to make sure I'm doing okay, and she texts me, and she sent me some books to read because I freaked out because I realized that I knew absolutely nothing about this military life that I had grown up around. I mean, my dad wasn't military, but I grew up in a military town. You'd think I'd know something, and obviously I don't. And that frustrated me. Oh, it frustrated me. To no end, to realize that I knew absolutely nothing. Because I've always been proud of working hard and studying and being book smart, and then realizing that I know absolutely nothing was awful and terrifying. But she's been super supportive, and I wish my mom was the same way, but she's not. So I've got Nick's family, and my brothers are trying to be supportive, at least a little bit. They're trying to at least help me get through it by distracting me, giving me stuff to do. And I appreciate that. And my dad and my stepmom are supportive. They're just supportive from a distance. We don't talk as much, but that's just who we are. We're all kind of big readers and kind of hermits. So when we call, we catch up everything all at once and then don't talk for another month or 2 or 3. We get busy and we forget. And I love them and they love me, and I know that, and I know if I ever needed anything, they'd be there. But we're definitely a love from a distance family. While Nick's family and Nick's mom for sure is definitely very involved, and I appreciate that more than I will ever be able to tell her. So every day has gotten a little easier. We're probably about almost, let's see, almost 10 days into this deployment. I have a long way to go. But I have a way to keep track because Nick is absolutely amazing. And for Valentine's Day, he got me this giant jar of Hersheys Kisses and then some. So there's a catch to these Hersheys Kisses. First, I want to show you kind of what's all on it. So he wrote in paint pens. It says "Kisses from the best boyfriend ever." And the funny story about that is one day we were together and I had left my phone, and he got into my phone and changed his contact to best boyfriend ever. So now it's kind of how we refer to each other on cards and stuff, and it's really cute. And how we refer to ourselves, because in his phone I'm best nerdy girlfriend ever. And let me tell you, that was the hardest thing to get him away from his phone long enough for me to change it. Which, let me tell you, I had to wait for him to fall asleep. Which is great because he sleeps a lot. So I just had to figure out that I had to wait till he fell asleep, which took some time. I'm not always, resourceful. Anyway, so then it says, "You're the best" on here, kind of this way. It's hard to see with all the Hersheys Kisses in here, but that's what it says. And he did it right. He did the U, is it a comma or an apostrophe? Pretty sure, no, it's an apostrophe. R-E, so it's U-R, which is good. He at least knows grammar, which is fabulous. It says "You're the best." And then on the top here, it says "Kisses" and "Don't stop believing." And then around the side here, it says "I love you." And then so FXXing much, which is really funny because we both curse like sailors. It's something that we just do. It's not, we curse a lot. So the fact that he put the little X's there is just really adorable to me. And then, of course, he put lift, I don't know that you lift it, but, he tries to help. But then there's rules to these Hersheys Kisses. And it says 2 kisses a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And that's funny because he actually did the math wrong. So for the next 2 months, I only get 1 kiss. And I was so upset. I wanted my 2 kisses a day. And I don't get them because he did his math wrong. But it's okay because at least I still get a kiss. We talk about 3 times a day. We've been able to figure it out how to do that. We either video chat or talk on the phone, or Snapchat. So there's that. So this deployment, I think, is really good for our first one because it's going to be easier than if he was going to Afghanistan or Iraq or any of those other more hostile places, because he wouldn't have internet. He wouldn't be able to talk as much as he can. So I got really lucky that Korea is the first deployment. And I'm really glad I'm doing so well. I'm actually really proud of myself, because I thought I would be much more of a wreck. And I know that and this is very early, so I mean I still might lose my absolute utter mind. But I've got lots of things to distract me. I've got lots of projects going. I'm working on, my wedding planning certification, which needs to be done by June. So, yikes. Got lots of work to do on that. I'm doing a lot of reading, figuring out kind of this military lifestyle, what to expect. I also have some Mother's Day gifts in the works, which I can't obviously show you or tell you about because mamas like to watch. Love you, mamas. So those will be a secret, but I'm totally gonna post it, create a video before I send it out, before I send the gifts out, and then after they've all opened them, because there's 4 mamas. There's my mom and my stepmom, and then Nick's wonderful mom and wonderful stepmom. And they're all getting a version of the same gift-ish, but it'll all be different as well. And so, I'm super excited to do these presents. I'm so stoked. I actually kind of want to send them early, but I can't because I just can't. Anyway, so this one was a little bit more emotionally based. Tomorrow will be a lot more upbeat. I'm going to a comedy show with one of my friends, so the video will be taken on the road and posted on the road. And Fridays should be a little bit more upbeat too, because I'm going apartment shopping with one of my other really good friends, because I think we're going to move in together, because she's going through a rough time right now, and so we're kind of going to take care of each other for the next year or so, help each other get to where we need to be, and I'm really excited for that. I adore her, and so I'm super stoked. I mean, we have a really complicated, interesting history, which I think I'll get to in one of these videos after we move in together, because we're looking to move in with each other in May. So once we're living together, we'll probably do some crazy wild video together, which should be fun. I'm excited. Lots of great things happening. I'm going to be doing kind of some off-branch stuff. Something that I'm really good at is turning really depressing songs into really happy, upbeat songs. I don't have the best singing voice, I will warn you, but it's hilarious. At least I think so, so hopefully you think so too. And then some other things, I've got a list of rants, some hilarious rants that I'm going to do eventually. So lots of good things in the works. Thank you guys for watching and putting up with this almost 25-minute long video. But I will see you guys tomorrow, and y'all have a wonderful night, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support. This has been absolutely helpful. Already feeling a lot better doing these videos, even though this is only my second one. But we're going to keep this going and keep this rolling, and I really appreciate all of you so much. Y'all have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah! Bye!